Welcome back to another Shyhammer Fantasy Battle Report, and today we got Ogres versus Skaven at 2,500 points. And you're going to see some very interesting lists here. The Ogre player is actually a new player, so he is learning how to play, so there's some things that you're going to notice that you might just point out, but we know. Trust me, we know. Anyways, let's see what the Ogre player brought to the table. Over here, he has a level 4 Slaughtermaster, I believe, with Great Maw spells. And then he has 2 packs of Saber Tusks with a Hunter and also some Lead Belchers right above him. Over here, those black primered models they're going to be Iron Guts. They're just proxied in. And then we have 2 Mornfangs. We have a unit of 30 Nobblers and also a Giant. Over here we have a picture of, I want to say it's like 10 Ogres, maybe 11. And then we have the Tyrant with them, as well as a BSB. What is it, a Bruiser, I believe it is. The Bruiser has a Flaming Banner with him, and the Tyrant actually took the Magic Armor. It's where he challenges somebody and he takes a wound back if he successfully wounds the person in challenge. Down below we have my Goblin Spear Chukka. It's proxying in for a Iron Blaster, and then also this Spear Chukka is also proxying in for another Iron Blaster. Let's go over what the Skaven have. Skaven have a very twisted and beautiful list here. Oh my god. It's just everything's just either a horde or just extremely muscular. We have right in the front and center, we have Thanquol and Boneripper with his 18-inch general bubble. Behind them is the Storm Fiends, which are the new End of Time models. Behind them are some Giant Rats with Packmasters, and behind that is the Warp Lightning Cannon. Going up, we have 2 units of 30 Skaven Slaves. One of the units has a Doom Rocket guy hiding out in front. And then right behind them is a unit of, I want to say it's like 5 Rat Ogres with Throt. And then we also have the Hell Pit Abomination. Oh my god, that thing is so deadly. And then over here, you could see it's a better picture. He has 35 Storm Vermin with the Storm Banner. Queek is not with them today because Queek doesn't like Grayseers, and he wanted to take Thanquol. He also has Deathmaster Snitch and a unit of Gutter Runners, which Snitch is going to kind of be around with them. And then over here, he brought out some Jezzails. I actually made those up for him. He's still in the middle of painting them and also building them. So, yeah. Anyways, let's go into turn 1, Skaven. And I don't believe either one had Vanguard, so we're just going to go straight into turn 1. First thing the Skavens do is pull out that Hell Pit Abomination. There's no charges, so Compulsory goes first. Hell Pit just kind of slithers forward and drags his back wheel. Slaves move up, the Rat Ogres move up, and the Jezzails move up to this little building that we were going to say he could garrison in, and they're just kind of poking out the windows, ready to shoot somebody. And as you can see, basically everybody kind of moved up around the general. Rattling guns just kind of hanging out right by Thanquol. And then we're just going to go to Magic Phase. Magic Phase, he gets 7 power dice. And before anything else, he throws up the Storm Banner. So basically he wants to make sure that there's no shooting going off on that first turn. Understanding that Thanquol's probably a primary target on a giant Boneripper. So he goes ahead, and these are his spells, by the way: Skitter Leap, Warp Lightning Cannon, or Warp Lightning, and Crack's Call. He's gonna go ahead and throw a couple dice onto Skitter Leap, and guess what? He throws 2 dice onto Skitter Leap, and the Ogres throw 2 dice, and they get double 6s. So no Skitter Leap goes off on the first turn. Warp Lightning Cannon, or well, he uses the rest of his dice on to, I believe. No, actually, he can't even do the Warp Lightning or the Crack's Call because the range was just too far. So I think that's why he didn't even finish doing Magic Phase. So we're gonna go to shooting. Warp Lightning Cannon goes ahead and takes a shot at these Ogres over here, and it bounces through the unit, and that bubble pops out at Strength 8 right in the back. Knocks off 2 guys. So Yeah, that was, and then it multiplies by D6 too. So I think he took like 6 wounds total or 3 wounds total, whatever. He took 6 total. He basically lost 2 guys. Um, and that was basically it. We're gonna go to Ogre's turn one. We got the Nobblers moving up forward. We got the Sabertusks moving forward, and then also he has the Lead Belchers. Or I'm sorry, not the Lead Belchers. He has the Iron Guts, and his Ogres kind of sitting back because he knows those Storm Fiends are about to pop on turn two, and he's kind of worried about like defending his rear. So more or less. And then over here you can see his Sabertusks. We just found out, or he got a tip from one of the locals who plays, and he said that his Sabertusks are better off being taken as a single character instead of a unit of two. So he split up all 4 of them, even though he can't have 4 copies. Whatever, nobody cared. So he, as you can see, they just kind of moved up and separated. And then over here, his both his Iron Blasters are moving up to get in range to shoot the general, I believe it is. So this is more or less how the board looks at the end of his movement. And we're going to go into Magic. Magic, he gets... I didn't have a picture of his power dice. But anyways, only thing he really tries to get off is Bone Crusher. He throws it at this unit of slaves, and it kills off 2 guys. Besides that, he tried to do some something to get more toughness. Didn't work. And that was basically it. Over here, the Iron Blaster, one of them shoots and gets a misfire on the first turn. He can't shoot for the next turn. And then over here, the Lead Belchers, they're going to go ahead and take shots at the Rattling Gun. They get 3 shots that land and 3 wounds. And basically, that's a dead Rattling Gun. More or less, that's about it. He goes ahead and tries to shoot the other Iron Blaster onto Thanquol, but doesn't hit or fail to wound on this turn. So we're going to go ahead, and that was about it for Ogres, and start off Skaven turn 2. So there's a little bit of funniness going on here, but the Hell Pit Abomination moved first, even though charges should have been declared first. And he charges in his Skaven slaves into that Sabertusk right there. So that should have been in reversed order, and probably wouldn't have been, whatever. Doesn't really matter, though. Over here, we have the Rat Ogres. They're moving up towards that Iron Blaster on this side. And then that was basically it. We got Magic Phase. He got 6 power dice, and he's going to go ahead and throw the dice onto Skitterleap again. And this time he gets it off. So he's going to go ahead and throw his Doom Rocket guy out of the slave unit and pull him up to the flank of everybody, basically. And that's going to start off with the shooting phase, I guess. The shooting phase, these Zales are going to take a shot at the Iron Guts that were moving up, and they do 1 wound onto them. And then the Doom Rocket's going to go ahead and take his shot down the line. I think he threw like 5 or 6 power or dice to see the distance, and it blows up right here and hits the General and a couple Ogres. So after all the wounds were calculated, it got 2 wounds, and the Lookout Sir saved the General's life. Warp Lightning Cannon's going to go ahead and take a shot next, and it shoots at the Mournfangs. It bounces 10 inches, and then it gets a Strength 2. So it doesn't wound the Mournfangs. They're like Toughness 4, I believe, or more. And then all of a sudden, I forgot to mention, the Storm Fiends popped up. So when the Storm Fiends popped up, the Rattling Cannon goes off, and the Rattling Cannon just blasts one of the Mournfangs and takes him out just outright. Over here we have Deathmaster Snitch and all these Gutter Runners, and they're all going to go ahead and throw some Ninja Stars at the Iron Blaster's backside, and they put on 1 wound onto him. And then over here in close combat, the Sabertusk killed off 1 slave, but all the slaves retaliating back ended up killing up the Sabertusks. And that's basically it for Skaven turn 2. We're going to go ahead and start it off with Ogre's turn 2 on these 2 charges right here with the Sabertusks. 1 got into the flank, 1 got into the front. And then, as you can see, he tries to do a huge charge from with the Iron Guts right into the Hell Pit. And he connects. I mean, he got like an 11, and I think that's what he needed. So that was some big numbers there. Over here, you can see everybody else is just kind of moving up. The Giant moves up. The Nobblers move up. And then he does charge in with the Mournfang on this side. And with the Rhinox Iron Blaster, it just moved away from the Gutter Runners. He was like, I don't need to spend all my time trying to kill you. I should just try to move it over. Over here, the Hunter, actually, he charged into the rear of the Storm Fiends as well to help him out. And sorry if that's a little out of order, but I warned you guys when when I started the video. You got 10 power dice, and on the power dice he tries to do the maw onto Thanquol, but Thanquol just dispels it outright. And as you can see, Thanquol has 2 wounds here, and he also has 3 dice behind him. The 3 dice behind him are actually from they're his pills that he pops. He's addicted to warp stones. The lead belchers go ahead and shoot at Thanquol, and they're one of the people who put a wound onto him. They shot, I think, like 10 shots onto him, and it did one. This guy cannot shoot because he misfired on the previous turn, and basically he's he also has to take a test for the Storm Banner to remove the effect of it. So that's why you see 5s and 6s around here to see if they were able to shoot this turn. But he goes ahead and shoots with the other Iron Blaster onto the Thanquol, and it does wound him, and that's where he got his second wound from. So basically 2 wounds, and that's about it. Over here, the Saber Tusks, this one killed off 2 of those Jezzails, and one of the Jezzails defends and stays put right there. And then as for these Saber Tusks, one took a wound from all the slaves, and they only killed off 2 slaves, but they're going to go ahead and pass their panic check just because they're so close to the general. Over here, the Storm Fiends kill off one of the Mournfangs, pretty bad, might I add. And then the Hunter gets back by giving one Storm Fiend a wound, and the Storm Fiends retaliate by giving the Hunter 2 wounds. As for the Hell Pit Abomination, he rolls on the chart and he gets Flailing Fists. Basically, it makes everybody take a 3d6 attack. Or basically, whatever. He does 3d6 attack to the unit. And he does it onto these Ogres here, and I believe he kills off one of the Ogres. So that's about it. We're going to go ahead and start Skaven turn 3 now. Skaven turn 3, he declares some charges. First thing he does is he charges the Iron Blaster here with Deathmaster Snitch. He charges his Giant Rats over here into the side flank of the Saber Tusk here, and then he charges the Nobblers with the Slaves, but he fails the charge. Over here, his Doom Rocket, for a lack of having anything else to do, came over to help assist with the Iron Blaster. And then over here, he charged with his Rat Ogres into the other Iron Blaster, so he ties them up. Magic phase, he gets 7 power dice, and he goes for the Dreaded 13th. He does 6 dice onto the Dreaded 13th, gets Irresistible Force, and he eats up basically like 12 units. And he thought he was going to pop up rats, but we read the rules, and basically the rules state that he has to be able to replace the whole unit. So the people who were about to transform into rats, since they didn't all turn into rats, they just basically like mutated and died. So they're dead rats, or dead Nobblers going on right now. For shooting phase, he shoots the Warp Lightning Cannon right at who did he shoot it at? Oh, he shot it at the General's unit again, and he got a misfire. Didn't happen. So we're going to go into close combat because I believe that's everybody who can shoot. Deathmaster Snitch is going to go ahead and attack the Iron Blaster. Iron Blaster makes all his armor saves. Can you believe that? So the Iron Blaster, the Rhinox kicks one of the guys in the head, kills him, and it's going to be a stalemate, I believe. He just sits there for a turn. Over here, the Saber Tusks, one of them kills off 2 of the slaves. Slaves kill off the Saber Tusk, and basically they're going to go ahead and I believe the Saber Tusks lost just because they had more ranks. They got a side charge with this turn, so they ran 4, and or he ran 4, and the Giant Rats chase him for 3, and yeah, there he goes. He's going to start running away, and then basically we're going to go over here. The Saber Tusk here kills off the last Jezzail. And my brother started cussing me out, asking me why the hell should he bring out Jezzails. He rolls for the Hell Pit. Hell Pit gets Avalanche of Flesh, and he puts on 2 wounds over here. The Iron Guts put on a wound back onto the Hell Pit Abomination. Hell Pit Abomination failing his regens, and he ends up finishing off with Thunder. Or no, he didn't have Thunder Stops. He just ends up killing off one more Ogre and has 1 wound onto that Iron Gut there. Over here, the Rat Ogres are going to go ahead and attack, and they do 4 wounds onto the Iron Blaster here, and it causes it to panic and flee. He's fleeing, and he failed to catch him. So that's basically it for close combat. Let's start off Ogre's turn 3. The Giant charges in. He goes into a side flank of the Hell Pit, and let's see how that goes. Over here, the the Saber-Tusk continues to flee in panic, and nobody's stopping him. So he's just going to keep running towards the end of the board. The rest of the guys are just basically moving up here. They kind of just decided to ignore the Storm Fiends who are in combat with that Hunter anyways. So Magic Phase. Magic Phase, I forgot to take a picture of the power dice again, but basically he rolls, he gets 6 dice, throws it all onto the maw. He gets the maw off, irresistible force, and then he gets a misfire on the scatter dice, artillery dice. So basically how it works is it goes through his unit, and they have to take an initiative test. If they fail the initiative test, they take a strength 7 hit. If they don't fail it, they take a strength 3 hit. So basically it goes through his generals. General passes in it. Between the other guys, they ended up taking 2 wounds total. It even multiplies to d6, and he only took 2 wounds. So he loses 1 ogre, and there's a 1 wound remaining on, or 1 wound on another guy. Goes into shooting phase. Shooting phase, those lead belchers over there, they're going to take some shots at the general still, and guess what? He takes another wound. Thanquol just keeps failing these ward saves, which is pretty cool actually on the lead belchers. Over here, his Storm Fiends end up killing off the Hunter, and we're gonna go into the Giant versus the Hell Pit over here. The Hell Pit rolls, and he gets like the shittiest one out of all of them. And he basically he couldn't even scratch the Giant's toughness. He just had some really piss poor rolls. So the Giant goes ahead and he rolls his dice to see what his chart is, how to hit big things, and he gets Thump with Club. And basically he has to take an initiative test. If he fails the initiative test, he's going to get smacked by the club. So the Hell Pit Abomination fails the initiative test. Oh shit, how many wounds is he going to do? It says it on the chart itself. Does wounds based on 2d6, not does hits. It does actual wounds. What does he roll? He rolls an 11. Holy shit. He rolled an 11. So he has to take 11 regens to see if he's going to get damage or not. And he gets, look at this roll right here. He gets like 7 or 8 regens. Basically, he takes, I want to say we just started using a dice. He took 5 wounds total. Or he had 1 wound on him to begin with, but he has 4 now. Or he took 4 more. And literally he has 1 life left. 1 HP left. Oh man, the Hell Pit sticks around though because I believe he's stubborn and he's in the general's presence. But that was crazy. An 11. He should have just smashed that Hell Pit into pieces. Holy crap, but those regens were, that was the lucky rolls on the regen. And that's actually one of the things that kind of makes what's going on in this fight happen. Over here, Deathmaster Snitch and the boys, they continue to attack and torment this Spear Chucka slash Iron Blaster. They put on another 2 wounds onto him, or 1 wound onto him, I'm sorry. And the Rhinox kicks another 2 guys in the face. Let's go ahead and start off Skaven turn 4 now. It gets rather ugly here pretty fast. So he's going to go ahead and charge with the Rad Ogres into the recently rallied Iron Blaster here. He's going to charge the slaves into, I believe, we see if he could clip just the ogres, and he does. So he actually avoided the Skaven, or the Nobblers. He tries to charge Thanquol into the Giant. I don't believe he actually connects. We'll find out in a minute. And then over here, he continues to pursue the Saber-Tusk that keeps on running. So the Rad Ogres connect. Oh, Thanquol does connect with Boneripper. He's going to try to help out the Hell Pit there. And, of course, the slaves connect over here to the General's unit. Magic Phase, he gets 8 power dice. And he's in range now where he's going to start shooting things, but he's stuck in close combat, so he really can't do much. He does the dreaded 13th right onto the Nobblers, and he kills off like another like 10 Nobblers. And again, he still has like 5 left, so he can't finish them off and turn them into rats, clan rats. He's trying to get them into clan rats so he can fight the Iron Gut there. Warp Lightning Cannon goes ahead and takes a shot, and it shoots right at the Tyrant. And it's trying to use its Skaven ability of shooting through slaves, because they don't care if slaves are in combat. They just want to blow up whoever the slaves are in combat with. But it bounces overhead and it hits a lead belcher right in the head, and it's a strength 2, so lead belcher lucks out and lives. It's like, what the hell was that? Just kind of tickled. Oh man, and here comes the pain. He does the rattling gun again through the slaves into the general's unit over there, and he just lights up the ogres. He kills 4 ogres with that rattling gun. Holy shit, man, those things are deadly. Um, as for close combat, these rat ogres finally killed off this iron blaster here, and they overrun because they're frenzied, and they basically ran off the board, and they'll be back next turn. Over here, the close combat, the slaves actually killed off another ogre. What the hell? Just failed our armor checks and parry checks. But of course, the ogres with their overwhelming force, and they have a Slaughtermaster, a Tyrant, and a Bruiser in that unit, not including the Champion and like a couple of other guys. They just destroy these slaves. I mean, they didn't destroy enough, so the slaves are going to blow up, and they don't actually kill anybody when they blow up. He was hoping to get like one lucky casualty, but it didn't. It tickled the ogres. Ogres reform, and they're facing those storm vermin that have been creeping up. Over here, this fight between the giant and the hell pit continues, and the hell pit actually wounds the giant twice, and not only that, it ends up killing off this guy over here. He got the giant rolls, or I'm sorry, he got the one that hits like everybody in base contact, so he actually hurt some of his slaves as well, but he didn't really care because he wanted to put some wounds down. He wanted to put some pain down. The giant goes ahead and rolls, and he gets a 1, and it's a yelling ball. Oh man, he could have done so many other things, and he got a yell and ball. Holy crap. So basically the giant yells at the enemy, and it wins combat resolution, but that's all it does. It does no damage, and it really doesn't matter because Skaven were fast enough to get all their attacks in before the giant even yelled. Oh, that sucks. Over here, the Rhinox ends up killing off the Warplock Engineer, and the Gutter Runners end up putting up another wound onto the Rhinox, and that was about it. It's still another stalemate over there. Ogre's turn 4. The General's unit is just going to go ahead and charge right into those Storm Vermin. And over here, the Nobblers end up charging into the Hell Pit. The Sabertusk over here finally makes it across the board and decides to charge into the Warp Lightning Cannon. And then that Sabertusk never rallied and just kind of ran off the board. Magic Phase, he got 6 power dice. And he decides he's not really going to do much with his magic because there's not really many things he can do with the spells he got. Over here, he throws a challenge out with his Tyrant, and the Champion accepts, and the Champion gets smacked in the face with that giant club and dies. The Ogres end up killing off a good chunk of guys. I mean, they kill off probably like close to 12 guys, and the Storm Vermin end up killing off. They end up killing off, I believe, the like 2 Ogres. They aim for the BSB specifically, I think, and they killed him off as well. But nope, I take it back. The BSB, the Tyrant, the Champion's still there, but Champion only has 1 life left, and the level 4 Slaughtermaster is still there. And then over here, this whole giant fight again with the giant and the Hell Pit go on. Hell Pit gets feed, so it basically gets everybody who's in close combat. They suffer a strain 6 with no armor save, and then any unsaved wounds multiplies to D3. Goes ahead and kills off a bunch of slaves, as you can see. I mean, there's a bunch of slaves that are in his base contact. Kills off pretty much all the Nobblers except for one. One lived with a lucky 1, and I don't think he even bothered wounding the giant, to be honest. The giant again rolls a 1, which is another yelling ball. Oh man, he only needs to do 1 wound onto the Hell Pit. Only needed to do 1 wound, and he rolled 1 twice. He's yelling at this thing twice. Come on, put that freaking club back in his head. One of the 5 heads he has. Oh man. Sabertusk goes ahead and puts a wound onto the Warp Lightning Cannon. The Warp Lightning Cannon is going to panic and flee. And then over here, Deathmaster Snitch finally killed off the Iron Blaster over here. Um, Took him long enough. And that was about it. We're going to go to Skaven turn 5. Skaven turn 5, the Rat Ogres came back on the board and started walking up towards this way, towards the General. And Snitch is kind of moving in towards the Giant. Magic Phase, he gets 7 Power Dice, throws it onto Warp Lightning. Doesn't work. Throws it into Skitter Leap, throws Deathmaster Snitch really close to the General, and goes off there. Goes ahead and does Crack's Call, gets Irresistible Force, and throws it right at this unit over here. I don't even think that was actually... I don't know if it's legal or not, because it's not legal. Because it's aiming at a unit that was in combat. But he ends up killing one guy with Crack's Call. Close combat, he's going to go ahead and attack. He puts a wound onto the General, and he also puts a wound onto level 4. And then the Ogres that are remaining kill off about 7 more Storm Vermin. And I believe they might have won, though. Anyways, they don't fail their panic check, though, because the General's in range, and they stick another round. As for the Hell Pit Abomination, this is basically where the pictures are getting kind of scarce here. Sorry about that. Hell Pit Abomination does Avalanche of Flesh, and it does a bunch of wounds right into the Giant, and it kills the Giant. And the Giant didn't even have a chance to retaliate. And when he fell down, he fell that way. He almost killed Snitch, though. Oh, man. Right there, that's basically the end of the game. I mean, the only unit left on the Ogres that has a fighting chance is the Tyrant, who has a wound, and the level 4 who has a wound. And there's a Hell Pit, 3 Storm Fiends, a whole healthy unit of Rat Ogres with Throt, and Thanquol and Boneripper still left on the board. So basically, Ogres call it quits there. It was a really long game, might I add. And like I said, there's a lot of things that I know that they probably messed up on here, but at the same time, the Ogres player was a new player, so he's still learning. That forest up there where the Ogres are touching, that was a blood forest, by the way. Anyways, if you guys have any kind of questions or comments or feedback, please feel free to leave them onto the comment section below. We'll be glad to hear what you have to say. Also, if you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And I'll be putting up new videos very soon. I have one more in my camera with High Elves versus my Orcs and Goblins. That was actually a really close game, and I would like to put it up and show you what I had. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.